now, where if that on the right pay slip and stuff like
Hmm.
that.
Hmm.
Uh, so that's how Chinese people attract as well.
In China, they have, I think, BBC will probably be able to correct me and give more insight on that. I think they have a social credit system, and they also everything is digitized. They don't use cash in the main what I would call like metropolis parts of China. Whereas obviously in the rural areas, I think they obviously have more traditional forms of trading, but that you have to think about the number of people that are over there. I mean, this is over, I don't know, 2 billion people, and they have really strong regional government. So they have to account for management of that number of people, and that the digital system is one of those ways. I actually don't think it's a good system, but then again, if this system is in place, which is a small group
Dubai
managing a
does the
large group,
same thing,
sorry,
kind
if
of the same thing. Dubai does kind of the same thing.
oh, is it? If this
Yeah.
system is in place where you have a small group managing the large group, the small group will put in mechanisms to stay in the position they're going to stay in unless the system changes. So I think China probably has that kind of mindset in terms of, well, we've got to control the population like any other government. I don't see them like in a bad way, but I think it's an example of the social credit system and that system where people can look to a system and say, look, we don't want that, even though
By
it's
the
got
way, I
benefits
don't
and
agree
this,
with it. I don't agree with it.
So would you get a digital ID? I mean, would you not get one, Mary?
The same thing they're trying to do with our passports when we go to the airports.
Yeah.
That's we don't carry the passport. That they just it's an automatic system that
Hmm.
we just walk into the what is it called,
The airport.
um the airport,
Uh-huh.
and they will take a picture of us, and that's how it would do.
Mm.
Yeah.
I don't think I think if you have an authoritarian government, it's very, very difficult for us as ordinary citizens to have any direction over our lives if every element of our lives is within a digital box. And then what happens when you don't work with what the parameters of that box? So if let me just bring in Black Pound Coin. Go on, BPC.
Yeah, this is it's such an interesting conversation, guys. It's a big situation that we're dealing with. And
Mm-hmm.
so it's why I always said we gotta get crypto savvy. We gotta
100. You got
get,
to get a Black Pound Coin in
we
it,
gotta
brother. I
get a
saw your
black belt
trainers.
coin. You understand what I mean? You need it because right now only unity is gonna be the strength against this beast.
Mm-hmm.
What's going on, right? And as they say, they're gonna give everybody this ID card, regardless of what happens. I mean, look at
Mm.
all right. There was a news article that said Japan froze 86 million bank accounts
For
because they're now adopting a new,
really?
yeah, 86
What
million.
the ones
Well,
I was making reference to was what happened with the truckers in Canada because
nah,
they
this
froze their
Japan.
bank accounts when they were protesting and blockading the road. So I didn't know about China, the one in Japan.
Yeah, Japan is serious because now that's gonna be a serious riot thing because they wanna adopt the digital ID card. Sweden's already
Mm.
got it and they put it under the skin. So they ain't no losing it. They ain't no I ain't got no, my phone.
Mm-mm.
They
They're
ain't no
sewing it
switching back
into
to
you, yeah.
Nokia. They're sewing it in. It's already been sort of experimentally tested and adopted in Sweden and various other countries. China, we know, is like the big country that is off standard when it comes to
Mm.
it because they've
Mm.
put it out there in a way that AI is now maintaining the control with the public and the
Mm.
social credit scoring. This is the adoption that the West wants to somehow roll out, but
Mm.
it's obviously being pushed back because nobody wants this type of draconian, nobody wants this type of
No.
totalitarian thing forced down them. And for my
Mm.
community, like the black
Exactly.
community,
I'm just telling that that's exactly what I was thinking. How is it going to affect black and ethnic communities if you have this digital system? Because they were trying to push the face recognition exercise during Carnival.
Yeah, they're gonna push that and they're gonna test that because it's all here already, and it did do some well. We just want to see it used in other places, like where it's predominantly other race or nationality, not
Yeah,
just the black.
Windsor.
We want to see Windsor. We want to
Windsor
see.
Castle, bruv. You need face recognition on Epstein Island, brother.
Right, you understand? With the protest that happened with Tommy and that, he was funded by Elon and funded by
Yeah.
so yeah, they want to push this agenda, and I think
Mm-hmm.
whether Labour is in power or Conservative is in power,
Doesn't matter.
it doesn't
And I
matter.
even think reform, because reform, right? Reform is getting people to their positions, not because of everyone knows what their stance is on immigration.
Yeah.
But look what I saw yesterday. I saw Kemi Badenoch saying we're coming out of the ECHR, the European Court of Human Rights. Yeah, that's what they've been pushing for however long. He keeps now talking about digital IDs. There are people I know, BPC, who look like me, come from my community, and they're telling me they will go through into the ballot box and hold their nose and vote for reform just for this one issue.
Now, but check this now, yeah. See reform?
Yeah.
They better do it right. They better do it right now. Check this.
It doesn't, they
They
know they're
want
going to
to.
get lick in their back from reform, but they don't want the ID card.
Right. The ID card is going to, let's just say that's imminent. It's about how we make it shape us instead of it shaping us. We need to shape it, so to speak, so it works for us. And this is where sort of my research has led into certain things that I want to create for my community, for the Caribbean, that people that's coming over here. There needs to be some form, because at the moment there's so much visa, right? The reform situation is like, right, we want to abolish ILR. To talk about indefinite leave to remain. They want to remove this. But when I researched it, indefinite leave to remain, just to acquire this status in the UK, cost thousands of pounds.
Oh, yes. I found that out from my neighbour. Every time he wants to go and renew, man's has got to fork out $3,000.
3
Boom.
to 5.
And if you see how much money, and you got to do that, I think sometimes you got to do that 4 or 5 times before you get your indefinite leave to remain.
Yeah.
So they're basically profiteering off of them people.
5 to 10 years.
Yes.
And that
I
works
was
out to be about
shocked.
£30,000.
Off of everyone seeking indefinite leave to remain.
Right. Now,
and when have you ever heard that? When have you ever heard that in the public space? People even know that.
Yeah, there's not enough conversation and talk about it, and it's a big thing to unpack. You need to have a whole session about this, like a whole.
I should do something on indefinite leave,
know,
because I don't know enough about it myself. I know roughly, but I didn't know that element of it. It's only because of people that you move with and they're in that space, so you ask a question.
Yeah.
Because that brother that evening, he was looking stressed, and I'm like, "What, go on?" And he's like, "Listen, this thing there," and he was just start telling me about it.
Right. You see, and the thing is about it now is we know that it's not going to stop the people coming over on boats. They're risking shark and sea out there to get over to the UK for a better life, and they think that the
100.
ID card is just going to deter them. When they get here, they cross that bridge with the ID card when it comes to it, because I think at the moment, yes, the argument, the conversation with Tony Robbins and them guys is like, yeah, immigration. At the same time, they can't do without the culturalism and the cultural appropriations, like, the food and whatnot, the work and whatnot. But at the same time, you're saying immigration. Okay, then. So how do we help to, support people coming overseas? And then, because I think what it is as well, people lost the idea of going back home. I used to hear this talk a lot with my mum, with other elders.
Yeah, but because everyone only came here for a couple of summers, and they ended up getting buried in the cemetery up the road.
They socialize.
They had the 9 night in Brixton.
You see what I'm saying? They socialize, they get caught up in the integration trap, and then now they're just here. They don't know how to make an approach to go back home, if that's still the wordplay. I go back. You can just go over there, and women can just get pregnant, and then get taken care of.
And then you get a flat.
You get a flat.
You get somewhere to live? No, you don't.
Now, there's a life in the UK course. I don't know if you've heard of that.
No.
There's a life in the UK course. You're eligible to take the test after 5 years. So after 5 years going back and forth with the visa, paying all this money into the government, right? And it's going nowhere. It ain't coming back into the black community. This is my concern. It doesn't come back into the black community. It doesn't do anything for a black pocket or black family. We can't see where it's being compensated or given back.
No.
So I then came up with the Life in the UK course, Caribbean edition.
Okay.
It's the first culturally tailored citizenship prep course for the Caribbean migrants, written in clear English, right, GCSE level, but the audio, because you got audio books and Kindle book, audio is in patois. The audio is in patois, so it's relatable.
Listen, the BPC, the other day, okay, I couldn't believe this. I actually came across an article on the BBC website, and it's written in pidgin English. So when you read it, it says me, Fidem, and all this business. And I said to myself, I thought that was a good thing. And I tell you why I think it was a good thing. It was a good thing because it means that those people who are running the BBC know that they have to come with a way of speaking to a group of people they previously didn't speak to.
It's training. It's training because again, they need to work. They need to learn the words, the lingo, or so
I think your idea is amazing. It's fantastic.
It's a very good idea, and I think that the Caribbean edition is necessary for a lot of people that come over here that really don't know where they're going, and they get lost in the system. They become immigrants, or they just pay out all this money, and there's no support. Like other countries have a support where if you enroll onto certain courses, you then get rewarded. You get points, which then reduces the visa fee. You know, it's like saying you have a driver license and you go for the driver's plus test, and that it's going to give you incentive to get your points discounted or whatever, So it's a system like that we need to have for the people in the black community.
But the other thing, right, BPC, just land because I'm going to just drop this last thing before I have to
Okay, all right. So
but land that point. But I wanted to say that a lot of people don't know the actual details that are involved in getting citizenship. Because you often, when I was working, I used to work a long time. Well, I used to work, it's only the last couple of years I've been at my other job, but for over nearly 20 years, I used to work at Age UK, right? And I used to get a lot of not mature people, because it's for people who are 50 plus can use any Age UK advice service, okay? So I used to get people who used to come to me who were like, let's say 51 or 52, come from the Caribbean, and they would be telling me about the lawyers who know the system, who were rinsing them out, robbing them and doing whatever they were doing, just taking their money, right? And taking huge amounts of money for them to do the paperwork. Plus, on top of that, the fees that was involved with not just the legal consultation, but with, like what you're saying, all of the procedures to get the citizenship. And most people don't realize that for every person who goes to get indefinite leave, if they've got to go through this process, they will spend maybe £12,000 before they even get the red book. That's a deposit, that's a car, that's a contribution towards your children's education. Do you see what I'm saying?
And the students then feel it a lot when the student visa, they got to get the work permit. They're allowed to work 20 hours, and then all that money they're busting their ass over is going right back into the government. So what I'm proposing is like giving, incentive and a safety net where you buy the course material and the test net, which is the Jamaican edition, and then you get like an NFT, and you also get validated on the BPC blockchain. And so if you fail the UK official test, you can then use that NFT to then pay, because they expect you to, if you fail, you got to pay another £50. If you fail again, you got to pay another £50. There isn't no help in that sense from the government when it comes to the Life in the UK test. Either you're doing it for your indefinite leave to remain or your British book. And the problem is
I'm gonna drop something in your DMs, okay? Because there's a person that I know, and one of the things that she does is she supports teachers coming in from other countries to the UK.
Yeah, that's good.
And to me, that's what you're doing has a synergy with her.
This is a whole immigration BPC pipeline.
Yeah, you see what I'm saying? So to me, I'm gonna just drop something in your DMs when I've done the show, and I'm gonna just make a little note for me to get in touch with this lady and see if there's something there that you guys might want to talk about, because I think what I didn't know about that test that you made reference to. I did know about the cost, but I didn't know about the test and the way in which that it could be used for, like you're saying, not only to give people support, but to put them in the right place so they know already how things are going to move.
Yeah.
It might actually influence their decision as to whether or not they even want to go for
And,
indefinite leave
right. And
or
check
anything
this.
like that.
Check
Because you
this.
might be
Yeah.
saying, well, what am I going to do all of that for?
Check this. If two indefinite leave people get together and have a child, that child is not a British citizen. You know, they say you're a British citizen at birth. In that,
No.
yeah. So you're not a British citizen if your parents have indefinite leave and they don't have British citizen. You as a child, you're not a British citizen and could get deported back to the home country of your family's heritage. I
Wow.
know people. Listen, I know people that they've been here a long time. Their children, they've been here from child. Their parents
Yeah.
overstayed, but the child is here. So the child goes through school and gets indoctrinated into the system and get the naturalization through the school system. The parent gets it from the child, but in a situation where you've not filed for the paperwork or the passport, these people I know, some of them, they've grown up to become adults, no passport in the system illegally, and they were born here. And they can't
Wow.
contest it the right way
So they just live undercover their whole life.
yeah, and it's a shame because it's unnecessary, you know. And I think that my final point with this the ID card, I think it's a good idea because it will start to uproot people who are taking the mick on the benefit system, and it will, you know, give people a sense of identity when it comes to race, because they're gonna put all of your thing in there that is gonna show that whether you're black or you're white. Because there was an argument on the news about the national insurance number don't have a photo ID on it, but why couldn't you put it on there to determine someone's ethnicity? So the situation with the proof of race, because I'm also working on some things with some organization that, you know, the brick card ID and linked to wallets. This is why you got to get crypto savvy, because it's not just the wallet that they're going to issue out, and it's not just the brick ID, and it's a long way. The scariness of you know, turning off your money and programming.
Unplugging you from the
Oh,
matrix,
yeah,
brother.
it's a little bit of a way away. It's like 15, 20 years away. It's not there yet.
Yeah, but then
Honestly.
what kind of government you're going to have in 15 and 20 years?
If
Because I tell
I
you what,
vote for reform, if I vote for reform, I'm voting for it because they want to play out the Donald Trump book. You're going to hear about it more, where Nigel Farage is saying, yes, let's go crypto, because nobody else has said it. And remember, that was the big argument anyway between Biden and Trump. So if Farage is going to be saying, yes, 10%, only 10% we're going to take from your capital gains, and I'm all right with that, because if I make 100,000, yeah, and they can take 10 grand, I'm all right with 90 grand. And some people will go reform because the investment opportunities, if we're going to find these millionaires start flying back into the UK, because
they never left, brother. Trust me, that's just a ruse. That one that they left, they don't go nowhere. This country's too sweet when it comes to a certain level of taxation and evasion of paying certain things. They don't go nowhere. Trust me, brother.
Yeah, it's true. But also this idea of a justice trade certificate. So you know about fair trade? We can
Yeah.
use the digital ID card to really lobby down and target companies that are from countries that had active roles in slavery, right? So the UK is one of the active countries that was in slavery. Remember, the insurance company only stopped paying out in 2015. And that was a
Yeah.
disgusting piece of news that came out because everybody's tax was wrapped up in that, right?
Yeah.
So the situation is that cultural appropriation is here. We see that Nottingham Carnival makes 400 million. Where does that money go? We want to know where that money goes. We want to
Doesn't go
target these
anywhere into the
companies
community there.
to pay reparations, right? And use BPC as the banking rails to pass this through into like a reparations fund that's held in by a trust, accountable by multiple signature and wallet signees, which then will pay out to, you know, people and organization of Black heritage. So
I
every
just
like
love the ideas,
you have
man.
Jerk Shack, you have Irish Jerk, which is an Irish company doing jerk chicken, selling to predominantly Black people with Irish staff and maybe one or two Black guys to tick the box. But look, that's our food that they're appropriating and selling and making a whole lot of money off of. We need to tax them. they should pay a levy, right? They should pay a levy to, and we call it the
Listen,
Justice Trade
hold this, man,
Certificate
because
Fund.
hold this, BBC.
Fire.
Land there, because it's been ages since I had you up on the podium to talk about what's happening.
Yeah.
Because the time is 11, brother, and I usually
But
finish at 10:30.
these are my
Right?
surrounding impacts that I want to challenge, and for the
It's good.
community, these are
It's
surrounding
good.
problems, I want to tackle.
I hear you, but let me just draw this last bit to a close, because I want to just do one more item before I go, okay? Because I do my Royal Corner every week, yeah? So I'm going to jump onto the Royal Corner this week so that you can hear my thoughts about what's going on. And I forgot to pick up on the Centre Barley issue, so that's not going to be in there this week, but I'm going to just dry this. This is going to be my last feature for the evening, okay? Because the time it's 11, people, and I usually finish around about 10:30 at the latest. But this evening it's been a bit lively, and we've had a few long headspaces, and there's been some really meaty topics, so it kind of went on longer than I planned. But this is going to be my last feature for the evening.